Yes.
Mike Wilmer.
Red Room Radio crew was good. Talk to him.
I'm looking for a new daddy.
Yes.
I'm looking for a new daddy.
Woo.
I'm looking for my new daddy.
Yeah.
I'm looking for my new daddy.
Will you be my daddy?
Yeah. This is the Red Room Radio crew. We here. We having a good time as usual. We hope y'all having a good time too. This your boy Dion. I got that dude Miguel in the house. We have the lovely Keon in the house.
Hey everybody, looking for my father.
And for the first time, special guest, Miss Colorado. Play the theme music. Yes. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for being here with us. We truly do appreciate it. Always a good time. Always a good time having y'all listening. We was playing that Future for a reason. And they had the baby daddy references for a reason as well.
Lord of mercy. Lord
Your
of
boy
mercy.
Future. Your boy Future. If you don't know, he was with the lovely R&B singer Sierra. If you don't know Future, he is a hip-hop star, if you will. And they was together for a brief period of time, and they conceived a little child, little boy, handsome little boy. And shortly after they broke up, Sierra decided to move on. She found herself a good brother. Good brother by the name of Russell Wilson.
It's called an upgrade.
Touchdown, and he is now in the record books.
Let me upgrade you. That's what Beyonce says.
She
okay?
made the move. She did a thing. And
Partner, let me upgrade you.
Future's a little upset. Future a little upset. He made some comments about he don't want.
Apparently, he ain't the future. He the past.
Oh, Lord. Easy. Easy.
Stop it. Stop it.
He don't like another man around his child. And then your boy T.I., he has some comments too.
Trouble man.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But please, Miguel, if you want to set that off, let people know something.
This is touchy.
Are you a parent?
I am. I can't even imagine, but I know from my heart, my vantage point is I want to be there for mine all the time. So for him to share love from another, I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing. But if you keep putting it out there as if he's above me, then I would definitely have a problem with it. Definitely.
Dion, what say you? You're another. Are you a parent?
I am a parent. I am a parent to a little boy, and I was in a similar situation, very similar. My son's mother and I, we broke up. We was together when we were in high school, and we broke up. Was young, and I moved on. She moved on, and she moved on with a gentleman that I really didn't care for, and I felt the ways in my younger days.
Way.
I did. I felt the ways sometime, when I know he was around my son. And I wouldn't say it was a pride thing, because because Keon, you got that look in your eye right now. It wasn't a pride thing. I think it was more of a
Poison?
no. I think it was a fear thing.
Oh.
Being a young man with a child, and just think like having that fear that I don't want, my son to love another man,
Right.
You know what I'm saying, or look at another man like that's his dad, or care about him more than me. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was
Stolen away. Stolen away.
But
Yeah.
here's my question. Were you raised by your dad?
I was not.
Were you raised by your dad?
That is a negative.
Okay. So I was raised by my dad. Miss Colorado, what say you?
Yes, I was.
If you guys felt that you weren't raised by your dad and you know what kind of impact that had on you, what's wrong with being a co-parent as you were, Dion, because just because you're not with her, right, and no one can take away you being the father. But if you're no longer together and you're both seeing other people, like Future has, I'm sure he has other women around his children because he has multiple children.
Right.
And at first you saw Ciara with all his other baby mothers or children, mothers of his children, whichever terminology you want to use, and they were exposed to the children.
He didn't have a problem with that,
Right.
though, did he?
So what is it?
Colorado,
How?
you real.
First of all, a woman is not gonna. Most women are not gonna expose their children to another male unless they felt that the person that they were exposing him to was of. Like the next, like they thought
Where the
seriously
hell
about
is
this
the
purpose.
buzzer?
Please don't
every
interrupt.
Week, it's like,
So most women won't do that. So maybe there is something that Ciara sees in this gentleman that purports that he is going to be a serious relationship thingy with. So why wouldn't she expose her son to him so that he can, one, see if he likes the man, comfortable around him?
Wait, not to cut you off.
Sure.
Just because I feel like you
Cut
going-
her off.
No. Because I feel like you touched a whole lot of things in that 15 minutes where you was just letting that out.
5 minutes? Yes, you're
But
right.
no, I'm just playing with you. But
But you're right.
You was touching a whole lot of things.
Yes,
And
I'm trying to cover a lot of bases with quick little bit of time.
Well, you about to eat up all the time, huh?
No, go ahead.
But the first thing you said was something about, you was like, well, why wouldn't I want my son to have that father experience?
No, I didn't say why
He
you
said
wouldn't want
co-parent.
co-parent.
Right.
Why
Meaning
wouldn't
if
you
someone else is in the picture,
picture
Yeah.
Right.
to
what is wrong
right,
with
not to
him
replace
helping
you.
out?
No,
Not
that's
to
fi-
replace
But one thing at a time is what I'm
Okay.
saying, because
Yeah.
you went from there to somewhere. Nobody
Okay.
got to answer that question.
Okay.
I didn't. That wasn't the case. I never said I didn't want him to co-parent or anything like that. I just said I felt a fear. I didn't say anything else.
Well, what
I
was the
didn't-
fear based in? I'm asking.
and like I said before, the fear was that my son will look at somebody else or love somebody else more than they love me, or wanted to be around someone else more than they wanted to be with me. Had nothing to do with me not wanting my.
So that's a personal issue,
Right, emotions.
That's not
Yeah.
necessarily
Emotions, yeah.
a issue that. So you say that Ciara, as his say, it was like if it's flaunting it, you don't take it as they flaunting it. You just say I have a personal issue that I need to work on.
No, there
Okay.
was no
All right.
flaunting. That was
I
just my
understand.
personal situation and how I dealt with it or how I felt about it.
Okay. So where's if you how did you evolve from that? Where you're like, okay, it's cool. I'm
I was always a mature dude, and I think you got to look past your own insecurities, your own fears. You got to just tell yourself the truth. Like, okay, if I'm his father and I'm doing my fatherly duties, I have nothing to worry about. And if that's who she wants to be with, then knock yourself out. You know what I'm saying? And just play your position and respect their relationship.
What say you, Miss Colorado? She agrees.
Nah, it's interesting because it is a read. So as it's going on, you're constantly evaluating. Is he trying to one up me? Should I bring him down? Have time with him? Those type of things is what I had a stepfather and my father was around. I never gave my stepfather any credit because I knew my stepfather was around and I wanted that more. Right? My stepfather was impressive. Ex NFL player, Super Bowl ring, Super Bowl trophies.
And you never gave him credit?
Never gave him any credit. It took me.
Why?
I just told you I wanted my
Yeah,
father to
but you
be
tighten
that
up,
guy.
Keon. There's too much wine.
But why wouldn't you?
All right. So when I get my degree in psychology, I'm gonna go back and figure it out. But I'm telling you what my life experience was. Right. I had a stepfather that owned his own business, a resort club. He had a Super Bowl trophy that was impressive. Like, gotta be like $80,000 worth of diamonds and rubies in that thing. He had influential friends. He had a lifestyle that I enjoyed, but yet he meant nothing to me. He took me out he coached a football team. He took me out every day with him to go watch them play football. It meant nothing to me. I gave him
That's sad.
no credit because I wanted the affection of my father.
But why didn't you deal with that with your dad and not acknowledge, what this guy apparently did for you or with you? That
as
seems very strange.
As a child, it's
He was
hard.
a child. He was
Right,
a
I'm
child.
saying now.
As a hard,
Now.
as a well, of course. Now I'm telling you the story because I now recognize how I wasted all that time worrying about what and when he was coming around when he never did. All he did was disappoint. The other guy tried because he loved my mom and he wanted to show me that this is what fathers do for their sons. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So that's what if it's a point like if you have like a Future and a Russell. Future seems to be very much involved in his kid life.
Right.
So the kid will have a.
Is he?
I don't know. Just saying he's making the statements as if that's what he
He's
does.
making
Well,
the
his ego
statements.
may be making the statements, right? His chest is like feeling like, well,
Exactly.
why
He
you
feels
running
the way.
around
Yes, exactly.
with my
I
child,
agree.
hugging up, kissing on the
Exactly.
next dude?
That's all it
when
is.
all it's doing is putting words out there in the atmosphere.
And I don't
that
think
I'm a
she's
bad
putting
dude.
it on social media to like make
and
him
it's
jealous.
about
I think
perception.
most people they
It's-
just live their life on the social
But it's-
media, so
it's
everything that they
perception,
do
Keon.
goes up on there.
Keon, it's perception. That's why a lot of celebrities don't put their kids out there, right? For that very reason. It's going to get interpreted the way it's now interpreted, right? If you protect your child, Kanye, whoever else, right?
Kanye protects his child. That kid is on Instagram more than the parents.
All right. Well, my overall point is I think celebrities try to shelter their experiences so that this doesn't happen, unfortunately.
But what exactly
Now
is
we're doing it.
happening besides the fact that he
Ego.
has a big ego and he
Egos,
can't put it away?
Yeah.
There's nothing else happening. She is a grown woman
Right.
who had a child by the man she thought she was going to marry
Right.
until he stepped outside of their relationship. They ended their relationship. She moved on.
Right.
She found her somebody who she wants to be with.
Right.
Maybe
And they wanna
they'll
be with
last,
her.
Maybe they won't.
Right.
But she moved on. He needs to get over it. He's always commenting when he sees pictures, whether she took them or somebody else snapped the picture and put
Right.
it out there in the media world. He always has a comment. But I have yet to see him with his own child anywhere.
I was going to piggyback
But
off that and
hold
say
on,
the
hold
first
on.
year you
Hold
never
on.
saw him. You saw
No.
her and her dad with the baby.
Exactly. Where was he? But at the same time, when they first started dating, he had no issue bringing her around his football field of other children that he has.
Miss
But it wasn't a
Colorado's in
problem
the house.
then. Why is it a problem now? Is it because you feel ways that your son is around a man who may have one up on you?
Yes.
Well, then
Yeah.
you need to get your grown man together and get yourself together. That shouldn't be an issue. You should be proud that another man has stepped up to the plate and has accepted the fact that this is your child and is willing to not say call me daddy,
Right.
but help along the way, because
Yes.
I still have yet to see you walk anywhere in them shoes.
I know that's right. Welcome, Miss Colorado, to the room.
Well, what a win from the West. Win from the West.
I will counter. I will say I think it's a little difficult if the person is known to be like media aggressive, then maybe you could say, okay, I haven't seen XYZ. I don't really follow him, so I don't really know what
He's
his-
media aggressive with
Is he?
everything else in his life.
But his other kids that he's always posting with the other ones.
When he first started dating Sierra, all you
Yeah.
ever seen him was with her and his other kids. Even when he started dating his quote unquote stylist or whoever you want to call her again,
Right.
he was out with her on social media. So what's the problem with putting you and your son out there?
Well, maybe the
Seems
breakup.
like an issue to me.
Right?
Seems the issue to me.
But maybe
he
the
had
breakup.
his
Maybe
release party just the other day, and his daughter
Uh-huh.
was there in attendance.
Well,
and
maybe
he
it was
took
the breakup.
pictures.
Maybe the breakup, I don't know, sent him sideways, and he don't
The
want.
breakup didn't send him sideways because right after the breakup, he was talking mess about her. About he didn't want the fame of the big things that she wanted in life. She wanted that.
Yeah.
So no, it had nothing to do with the breakup. It is the fact that you are. What's the word I'm looking for? You
Prideful.
just feel exactly.
Ego.
Get it together.
Poison.
Get over it.
Hold on, let me
Get
hop in there
over
real
it.
quick.
So that's what I was going to ask you, Dion. I mean, your
living
son
it.
is a little bit older now, right? And you obviously are co-parenting. At this particular stage, do you say to yourself, "Yeah, I'm cool with"? Of course, you want to know that he's an okay dude or he's got it together. But you're like, I'm cool with someone, helping in my son's life. Is that how you feel now?
All right, hold on. going back to Future really quick, what I was gonna say was, I think he just got his chest puffed out
Right.
because he know dude is a good dude.
Right.
So he just feel a certain way. It's like Miss Colorado said. I don't think to me it don't got nothing to do with anything else. He just feel a ways. He see this other dude that supposedly doesn't want to have sex and want to wait till they married, and he just got this good man vibe. And then he's a football player, so you know he making money, probably a millionaire, what have you, making more money in the future, possibly. Who knows, but possibly. And he's just looking at him like, man, that's the competition right here. Like, my man, he's doing his thing. So you feel a ways. And I think that's why he's saying certain things in the media, what have you.
But get over it. Be happy that
Yeah,
she
no,
has
I agree
found
with you.
a
I
positive
agree.
person
I
to
agree.
be
I
in your
agree.
son's life. She's
His-
not
his-
running
his
up with the
pride is
next
hurt.
thug, getting his tour bus and stuff shot up with your child in the back seat. No, she has found her a nice, wholesome man. And again, maybe it'll last, maybe it won't. But for now, he's a good dude. Get over yourself.
I feel you. And to answer Keon's question, I never had a problem with co-parenting. I never had a problem with if my son's mom was with another guy and they was playing, house in the house. Again, as long as you're treating my son correct. I never, because I had, a girlfriend at the time too. And I wouldn't hold myself to a different standard.
I'm
than I
asking
ask anyone else.
as a dad.
Yeah.
Do you like if I'm your son's mother? Hey, boo, I'm dating Bob now. Do you say to yourself, you know what? I'd like to meet Bob before you make the next step, just to feel him out, because I know he's going to be raising or helping to co-parent my
Definitely.
child.
I want to know what dude is about.
If you get what I'm saying, I'm not asking.
Yeah. I want to know what dude is about before he's with my child.
But how you approach that?
You just approach it.
Yeah.
I would approach it like a man, and I would expect him to come the same way.
Right.
It's like, this is my son. Obviously, this is you're gonna be with her, who's raising my son. I just want to meet you and see what you're about.
Right.
And I expect him to come at me like I would. I want him to say
Appreciate
to
that.
me, "I hope you would want me to meet you,
Right.
and see what's going to be around your son."
Right.
You know what I mean? And I have the same respect for my son's mother. I don't want to just have any chick around my son
But y'all never had that conversation before the relationship started on either side.
before
Like-
their relationship started.
Yeah, let's say you and her had your child,
Yeah.
and then you separated. You went
Yeah.
your ways. So before she had the next relationship, you insisted on knowing about him, all of that good stuff, and vice versa. Did she?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because my sons, we're really close. We were best friends at the time.
Okay.
So we always had that dialogue to where it was like, okay, this little boy in between us is what's important, and
Right.
give me the same respect you want.
Right.
So it was always that conversation. If you with somebody, I want to make sure you're a good dude or whatever to be around my kid. You date
Right.
whoever you want, but
Right.
you bring him home to my son.
I wanna
Have
know. Yeah.
talk to me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And I'll do the same. So we always had that open line of communication.
That's good.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
what's T.I. talking about? I don't understand.
What T.I. said something sideways. What did he say? He wouldn't
Yeah.
have had nobody.
He had his chest puffed out to talk about he would feel a ways to. He wouldn't have just some random dude around his kids. T.I., you got like 6 children. And since
Seriously.
you've been dating Tiny, she was around all your children. Matter of fact, she's helping raise your kids as we speak. So please, have several seats.
Yeah, seriously.
And I love you, T.I., but you was out of line. First of all, that ain't even your place to have nothing to say.
Seriously.
Especially when you ain't with none of your baby's mamas.
Oh.
And your wife is helping you take care of all your kids, because between the two of y'all got maybe 6 and 3 of them are hers, and no, maybe 7 and 4 of them are yours. Yeah, have several seats, dear.
And it's nothing but pride that would make a man stop another man from doing a better job.
Well, couldn't pride be poison?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
that. I don't think that's an argument.
Yeah, definitely.
I
That's-
think the bigger issue is, again, I think it revolves back to that culture where if he didn't do it, then he would probably be pointed out,
Why would he?
because that's just the culture.
It would make more.
But why does it
I
matter?
don't
But
think nobody would
I'm
point
saying
him out. Who would point
it
him
is the
out?
culture. Like look at how your baby mama doing with
But
your
look who
son.
pointed him out. The
It
same
doesn't-
person in the same situation.
Right, that's
so
what I'm saying.
who cares?
Because in their world, that's what matters. Right?
Then in their world, they're all ignorant. Because that's stupid. That's just
that's
dumb.
not even a revelation. You
That's
feel
just
me?
stupid.
Yeah, but that's the
So
mentality.
I'm going to say something about it because I don't want the next man to point me out.
I'm
Come on.
telling you, that's the revelation.
Is that really how y'all manhood work?
Me personally, no, but I think that's in that genre.
Well, you did say she was throwing it in his face.
No, but I don't even know the particulars of the situation.
But that's the statement you made.
All right, you listen to only what you want to hear.
Okay.
I specifically said.
Yeah, starting again.
I specifically said.
Here she go.
I don't even know. So if that is what she's putting in his face, then he has that opinion that he wants to react to it.
So what if the tables were turned
Okay.
and it was him?
Uh-huh.
How would you feel if it was her making the comments, but he's raising the child?
You want to be
Then everybody wouldn't have a problem with it because he's taking care of his child. He's a good man. He's
No,
a single dad.
I would feel
let him do that.
I would feel, but maybe I'm different than they are. I would feel if you came to me as my baby mom and said, "Listen, I don't like how you got homegirl all over the internet with posing with my child." I may take a step back and say, you know what, for the betterment of the child, if we married, that's a difference. Just we're in a relationship, I may say, nah, it doesn't rise to the level where that needs to happen. You know what I mean? So if we got a family situation, and this talk of marriage or a proposal or whatever the case may be, then maybe that might be something where I say, okay, you know, screw you. Obviously, we're moving in the right direction. He's happy. I'm happy. We're moving on with
But
life.
we don't even
So
know
I
if
should
he...
put my happiness to the side because I have yet to talk about marriage with this guy to make you happy?
No. It has nothing to do with whether or not you're happy or not. I'm happy that you're happy. But I think the bigger picture is that he has a problem with the way the whole structure.
But then
is
maybe
being
he
portrayed.
should call her and not post
we
it
don't
on
know that
social
hasn't
media.
happened.
I know on the post he called her a hoe or
Right, but
some-
maybe he,
like really you calling your
but maybe
son's
he
mother
tried
a
to
hoe?
talk to her and she didn't want to do anything about it.
I doubt it.
I don't know.
I
I
doubt
just
it.
think I know personally for myself, if God forbid me and wifey separated and I got 2 kids and all of that comes up, the next dude comes into the picture, I don't know how I would take it because I know how I was traumatized as a child based on my scenario. You know what I mean? But it would
That makes a
I
difference.
couldn't look at that and just
But
think, okay.
Isn't the flip side like yay for Ciara that she wants to find a nice guy that, you know, be in her life and be her partner, and yay for this guy Russell who is young enough to go find any chick to bed up that he wants to
But why not just keep it
have a
private?
serious
I think that's the argument.
relationship with her. Like when there's so much negative press about black guys not being good dads or being there, isn't it refreshing to see? Oh, why isn't the spin? Hey, check out Russell, whatever
That's
his
what I'm saying,
name
stepping
is.
up to the plate.
Yeah, being a good, wanting to be a dad. Blah blah
Not
blah.
necessarily even a dad. He just wants to
Yeah.
be there.
Right.
You're not. He's not. You don't see him on audio telling the little boy, "Call me your daddy. Tell me you
Right.
love me."
Right.
You see him running up and down
Right.
the football field with the little boy
And-
playing,
and-
just
Legit.
being there.
And you know
just
what you
being
see?
there.
You see the kid go to hug
Interacting,
him.
right.
You don't see him. The kid is hugging him.
But
so maybe the kid wants the affection
That's
from the fella.
all good. I think the problem is that it's publicized. That's the issue.
but that's
Not-
the life
not-
they live.
That's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine.
so
I'm
that
just
it's
saying.
not. Even
but-
if she wanted to hide it, I'm sure she
it would
could.
be
Public-
difficult.
the
Sure,
public,
Exactly.
sure. It'd be
figures.
difficult.
You know
yeah.
what I think?
Yeah.
I think
Because who
I
wants
think
to go
Future-
through that all the time?
I think Future he played it the wrong way. And I agree with you, Miguel, that people are gonna look at him initially like, yo, damn, she up there with some dude with your little man. I think he played it the wrong way. If he would have just came out and been like, oh nah, that's a good dude. You know, my little man is my little man. I respect that man.
Right.
He ain't out here to hurt my kids, so
Right.
he good. He get a pass. Even if you gotta play tough,
Right.
But just like you know
Point
what,
it out.
I'm not even worried about
Yeah,
that. That's
yeah.
a good dude. He got the best intentions for my son, like I got for my own my own son.
Right.
Then he'd have been looked at. We wouldn't have been having this conversation. He'd have been looked at a different way. But since he played that card of, oh, who this dude around my kid out. Now it's a big situation. Now we're looking at you like, dude, you's a fool.
'Cause
Because
I
my
think
man
it-
is obviously the better
A
man.
good dude. Yeah.
I think his other statements were, we don't do that in our community, and I didn't know what
I'm telling
he
you.
meant
I don't
by
know.
that.
It's
I
about
hear
the
that
post.
comment.
I'm telling
I
you.
hear that.
I understand what he's saying. I'm not saying I agree with it,
And
but
we
I
don't-
understand what he's
we
saying.
don't bring
He's
other
saying
men
that
around?
to publicize it is the issue. It's all right if it's happening, but he's gonna puff up his chest only because now it makes him look like less than.
No, he made himself look like less than.
I understand.
No,
It
but
has nothing to do with who she's dating.
But
He made
wait.
himself look that
Hold on,
way.
Now, I agree with Miguel on that, because a lot of dudes do look at it like, I can't come that way, or I can't be that way, because
You can't be what?
I can't have this dude running around with my kid
Why?
because I look crazy.
macho
I look soft. I
It's a
look
macho
You
thing.
know what
But
I'm
see,
saying?
that's the thing. You know what makes you look crazy? Having those thoughts. That's what makes y'all crazy.
That's
what
real.
makes y'all
That's-
crazy.
that's-
Not
and
that
listen,
the man is running with your child.
That's
Nah.
y'all
you.
thoughts
I,
make
listen,
y'all look
I
crazy.
agree with you.
Hold
All
on.
I'm doing is
Come on
saying
now,
that
y'all
that
got
is
to do
hold on.
better.
that
As
men. Some
grown
men do
men.
feel that way.
I don't
Yo,
care what
yo.
color,
Get-
whatever. As grown men, you got to do better.
Get a gavel, or a bell, because we need it.
We got to
Listen,
get that. It's in
There
here
is
somewhere.
no
I think Keon put it in her
I don't-
purse.
I am not a woman, never been a woman, but there is no relationship like a man and his son, in my
I'm not
opinion.
saying there is, and I'm not saying anyone's trying to take that away from you.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is your thought of, oh, I can't have the next man with my son. That's retarded. Because if you're not absent from your son's life and
Right.
you're still there,
Right.
there's not an issue.
Right.
The only issue
So,
would be
wait a
if you
minute.
were
The only
absent,
exactly.
because then you would feel
Exactly.
guilty that someone else is
Exactly.
doing it
Hold on,
for
wait,
That's
you.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you're
Wait,
not
wait.
Like a little
absent,
gap.
if you're there,
All right,
that's
hold on.
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
issue.
Hold on,
I'm
real
with
quick.
Miss
There's a
Colorado.
gap.
Real quick now, because we're talking about the situation, because this is what happened with Future and Russell Wilson. But things like this happen the other way around, with women
Day.
raising another
Man's
woman's child.
Child.
And women act the same way too.
No,
so
they
don't act
do
like
not.
What?
No,
They don't even.
no,
They don't
no,
even
no,
comb
no,
their
no,
hair.
no,
They don't
No,
even.
they do not.
No.
they do not.
Oh,
No,
let's
no,
get
no,
started.
no, wait a
Let's
minute,
get
wait a minute.
started.
Wait a minute.
So you
'cause
mean
listen,
wait, explain yourself. Are you saying that your baby's mom acts the same way about you being with somebody else and having your child around them? Or are you saying the person that you're with acts a certain
No,
explain
the baby mom.
Okay.
The baby mom. And I can attest to that. Now, we was young.
I thought y'all
I
were best
felt-
friends.
Let me speak, Keon.
Sorry, baby.
Again, we were young and we were best friends. And as I was going to say before you chimed in, I feel like I was a little more mature. I can see the bigger picture. Now, there's definitely been conversations where she was like, "Oh, I don't want that around my kid." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we had to talk and get
Work it
things
out.
together and work it out.
Yep.
But those words came out of her mouth plenty of times. So women do act that
About
same
women
way.
you were dating?
Yeah.
Why?
Did she
The
have a
same-
reason
the
as
same
to why?
reason a man would
No,
feel
I'm
that
asking,
way.
Chest.
did she have a reason as to why?
No, it's
No,
the chest.
that's just how you
Pride.
feel because it's your pride. That's
Yeah.
your child,
Right.
And especially for a woman, because that's you're supposed to protect that baby. And you see your ex-man with this little child. Well, excuse me. You see your ex-man with the woman and your baby. You kind of like, yo, who this? That's the first
Right.
thing come out their mouth. Who is this?
Well, I think that. When
So
you-
women don't do that. I don't want to hear. Do women do that?
Why is
Do
my
women do
child?
that?
Why my child here not?
I'm sure
done?
they do, but
Okay, so don't
but
act like
I'm
it's
not
all
saying
men,
I
though.
did not say it was all men. I was going
said
off of
men
the
need to do this and
because
tighten
of
up.
the topic that we're discussing. We
I
are
think
discussing.
women-
Hold on, we are discussing
We ain't
two
about the men
men.
bashing this.
I'm not bashing men, but the topic was Future and Russell Wilson. So therefore, I was referring to men in general because that's what we were talking about. Now, as far as babies' mamas, I'm sure you got them too. There's the ratchet ones out there. But again, what would be the reasoning? Especially if you're not an absent mother, why would you feel that the next woman is a threat to you? That is
Insecure.
my question.
Insecure.
Well, then that's a
all it
personal
is.
issue.
It is.
But that's what it is. It all boils down to a personal issue
Yep.
and how you feel.
But again, then you need to get it together because it shouldn't be that way.
Okay. I just challenged you when I said there's no relationship.
Shout out my
between-
baby mama. That's my.
Miss Colorado. I just challenged you when I said there's no relationship like a father-son relationship. But of course there is. There's a mother-daughter relationship, right?
You're absolutely correct.
I've
Or
never felt
father
that.
daughter or father daughter.
No, it's not the same. I've never felt that because all I've ever seen before my child was born was my child growing in my likeness. Does that make sense? And I'm sure for a woman, it probably typically comes off the same way. So I've already heard the story, why my child hair look like that, why she never matching in her clothes, why this, why that. All of that stuff happens on a regular. All of that happens on a regular. So it is, I think, just a personal thing when you know that there's somebody else taking control like you should be in control. And I think feelings get the best of you, and all of a sudden you feel some type of way.
Feelings do.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm not trying to act like no saint. You know, there's plenty of times, especially in the beginning, where I'm like, yo, who is this dude? Like, you know what I'm saying? I might talk trash or whatever, like, yo, that dude, this, that, and the third. But eventually you get to that point, you say to yourself, okay, he has the best intentions for my son just like I do.
Right.
So you got to put the negative words and negative comments to the side, and you got to
Or what if your child's parent has the best intentions for their child just as you do?
What do you mean? They always do.
Right. So,
But it's an
it's a
internal thing.
right, I know it's an intern. I'm not disputing that, but what I'm just asking is, if you know the person you laid with and had a child with, something as special as that is, you trusted them enough to bring life into this world. You should trust them enough, if you were with them, you know, that their judgment is sound and that they would not intentionally bring poop-putt around your child.
Nah, but it's not about because it's not about that.
Okay.
Ultimately, you know, or
You
if they're a good
assume.
person, ultimately you know they're a good person, or you
Right.
assume they're a good person.
Right.
It has nothing to do with that. You know they're not going to bring no ex-con around your child.
Right.
But it's just how you feel about the situation. Do I want another man around my child, or do I want another woman around my child playing mom?
But then it's a double standard, because if you are happy,
not a double standard.
hold on, hear me out. If the person in question is happy bouncing many different women around their children as new mommy or new girlfriend or new auntie, and they don't have a problem with it, then they shouldn't have a problem when the coin is flipped. Do you understand
That
what
ain't
I'm
no
saying?
double standard.
That's not-
That is
That's
a
not- I
double
mean,
standard.
no,
That
no,
is a
no,
double
no,
standard.
No, it is a double
My
standard.
friend is shaking
but
their head.
It is a double standard, but who said men are doing that? Who said they bouncing a whole bunch of women around their son?
I
The
think it's
person-
both sides, men and women that are doing it. But like I was asking before, what happens when the tables are turned? So in this instance,
Right.
when the tables were turned on him, he didn't like it. It was okay when she was doing it for him, but
Right.
when table got turned on him, it was all horrible. Again, but it was okay when she was doing it for him. So
need
I
to
think it
tighten
goes
up.
both ways.
He need to tighten
It
up.
goes
No.
men
Your
and
boy
women.
is
In this,
slacking.
in our,
He gets no love from me.
in this culture,
What culture is that?
rap, American, whatever you want to call it, there is a sense that if you see the next with yours, you're not in control. That's a problem for a lot of people. So for him to take the position that he did, I don't think it's out of the norm. And clearly, D doesn't feel the same way. But for whatever reason, you all want to take it to the right and wrong perspective. And I don't think anybody here is arguing the right or wrong. We're arguing this is his position, and he feels the way he does because of the way he lives life.
I don't think we're saying you're right or wrong. I think we're just trying to understand that
No,
mind
it's
frame.
simple.
All right,
It's
hold
simple.
on. That dude, would you please have the last thought? Because we're just about out of time, so we can get that last thought since you.
Yeah, shout out to my stepfather,
Turn
Michael
up.
Bass. I appreciate everything you've done. I didn't recognize during the moment, but I recognize now for sure.
Big up.
In this sense, again, I think it's bigger than we're making it out to be. I think a black man's pride, sorry to bring it to the racial thing, but a black man's pride is challenged in many different ways and many times a day. So if this is something he wants to feel challenged about, I don't know if it's right, I don't know if it's wrong, but he feels the way he feels, and I wish him all the best.
Make you feel some type of way.
That was the last thought. We appreciate it. I just want to chime in on that. I wouldn't say it's a black man's pride. I think that's any man. Any man with another man around their child may feel a ways.
Make
But
you feel some type of way.
we thank y'all again. Red Room Radio. This is your boy Dion in the house. We got that dude Miguel in the building.
Fuck.
We have the lovely Keon in the house.
Hope we've made you feel some type of way.
And we have a the special guest. We all glad you're here. Thank you for coming through. The lovely, the beautiful Miss Colorado in the house.
Good night, people. Good night.
We're going to talk to y'all next time.
Make you feel some type of way. Is that how you say it?